First contact with the impossible. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the research vessel Curiosity, her breath catching in her throat as she took in the impossible sight before her. The massive structure hung suspended in space, its crystalline surfaces refracting starlight in ways that defied conventional physics. After 3 decades of studying quantum mechanics and ancient civilizations, she had never seen anything like this. Recording log entry, Earth date March 15, 2247. She spoke into her neural interface. The Helios Array, as the local Centaurian civilization calls it, appears to be a quantum-scale engineering project that spans roughly 0.3 astronomical units. Current status: complete shutdown, with cascading failures affecting nearby star systems. The ship's AI highlighted various sections of the megastructure on her augmented vision display. What had once been a network of perfectly synchronized quantum nodes now pulsed with erratic energy patterns. Each fluctuation sent ripples through the fabric of space-time itself, threatening to destabilize the delicate balance of multiple star systems. Dr. Chen, a melodious voice chimed from behind her. The Council of 12 awaits your preliminary assessment. Sarah turned to face Ambassador Terra, the Centaurian delegate who had requested Earth's assistance. The ambassador's bioluminescent tendrils flickered with patterns that Sarah's neural interface translated as anxiety and hope. The Centaurians, despite their advanced civilization, had been unable to prevent the array's deterioration. "Tell them I'll be there shortly," Sarah replied, her eyes still fixed on the structure. She pulled up the data from the latest scans, letting the numbers dance through her augmented vision. The patterns were familiar somehow, like an echo of something she had seen in her research on Earth's quantum computing breakthroughs. The council chamber was a marvel of organic architecture, its living walls pulsing with neural activity. Representatives from 12 of the most advanced civilizations in this sector of the galaxy sat in a semicircle, their varied forms a testament to the diversity of intelligent life. Some existed as pure energy, others as crystalline structures, and a few in forms that human senses could barely comprehend. Dr. Chen, the first speaker's thoughts resonated directly in her mind. "You understand the gravity of our situation. 1,942 specialists from across the known galaxy have attempted to restore the array. All have failed. Why should we believe a human can succeed where so many others could not?" Sarah activated her holoprojector, filling the chamber with a 3-dimensional representation of her findings. "Because," she said, her voice steady, "I believe we've been looking at this all wrong. This isn't just a piece of advanced technology. It's a quantum computer of unprecedented scale, and its base code." She highlighted a sequence of patterns in the energy fluctuations, bears remarkable similarities to Earth's early quantum computing experiments. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of mental and verbal communications. Sarah waited, letting the implications sink in. Humanity, one of the youngest spacefaring civilizations, might hold the key to understanding technology that predated most of the council races. "Impossible," declared the mechanist representative, their synthetic voice crackling with skepticism. "Your species only achieved faster than light travel 3 generations ago. The array is millions of years old. Yet the mathematics don't lie," Sarah countered, expanding the holographic display. "These patterns, these quantum signatures, they're nearly identical to theoretical models developed by Dr. James Martinez at CERN in 2157. We never built anything at this scale, but the underlying principles are the same." The first speaker's consciousness brushed against Sarah's mind, probing for deception and finding none. "If what you say is true, Dr. Chen, it raises disturbing questions about the array's origins. But we have more immediate concerns. The Proxima Centauri system shows signs of increasing instability. Without the array's regulatory functions, we estimate complete stellar collapse within 30 days. Sarah nodded, pulling up another set of calculations. "I have a theory about how to restore basic functionality, but I'll need unrestricted access to the array's core systems." And she hesitated, Knowing her next request would be controversial, I'll need to bring in a quantum engineering team from Earth. The council chamber fell silent. The presence of more humans near such a critical piece of ancient technology would be unprecedented. But as the latest sensor data streamed in, showing accelerating deterioration in 3 more star systems, they had little choice. "You have 14 standard days, Dr. Chen," the first speaker declared. "After that, we begin evacuating the threatened systems." As Sarah left the chamber, Ambassador Angstera fell into step beside her. The Centaurian's tendrils pulsed with complex emotions. "There's something you're not telling them, isn't there?" they asked quietly. Sarah's hands tightened on her datapad. "The similarities to human quantum architecture aren't just coincidental," she whispered. I think whoever built the array knew we would find it. And more than that, I think they knew we would be the ones to fix it." The ancient structure loomed before them, its secrets waiting to be unlocked. As Sarah began composing a message to her team on Earth, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to uncover something far more significant than a malfunctioning piece of cosmic engineering. The real question wasn't just how to fix the array. It was why it had been built to resonate so perfectly with human quantum theory in the first place. The human element. The quantum engineering team from Earth arrived within 48 hours, their ship emerging from hyperspace in a flash of controlled space-time distortion. Sarah watched from the Curiosity's observation deck as the vessel docked, its hull bearing the distinctive markings of the Earth Science Institute. Dr. Marcus Wong, Earth's leading expert in quantum architecture, strode onto the deck with the confident gait of someone who had spent more time in virtual simulations than actual space. Behind him came Dr. Aisha Patel, whose groundbreaking work on quantum entanglement had revolutionized interstellar communication. They were the best Earth had to offer, and Sarah desperately hoped it would be enough. "I've reviewed your findings," Marcus said without preamble, his augmented eyes scanning the massive structure beyond the viewport. "The correlation between the array's base code and early Earth quantum theory is unsettling." "Unsettling doesn't begin to cover it," Aisha added, pulling up a holographic display of her own analysis. "These patterns shouldn't exist. It's like finding Sanskrit inscribed on the surface of Mars. It implies things we're not ready to confront." Before Sarah could respond, her neural interface pinged with an urgent message. "Call." A rogue archaeologist from the crystalline species known as the Vardis requested an immediate meeting. Sarah had encountered references to Catull's work during her research, brilliant but controversial theories about ancient quantum civilizations that had earned them exile from mainstream academic circles. "I need to take this meeting," Sarah told her colleagues. "Start analyzing the core systems. Look for any patterns that match the Martinez sequences." Kittel's temporary lab aboard the station was cluttered with artifacts and holographic displays showing complex mathematical formulae. The crystalline being's surface flickered with patterns that Sarah's translator rendered as intense excitement. "You've seen it, haven't you?" Kittel's translated voice thrummed with energy. "The quantum signatures, they're not just similar to human computers. They're identical to theoretical models that shouldn't have been possible millions of years ago." Sarah nodded, pulling up her own data. "The Martinez sequences appear throughout the base code. But that's impossible. Dr. Martinez only developed those theories 90 years ago." Kittel's crystalline form pulsed with colors that indicated triumph. "Unless," they said, "time isn't flowing quite the way we think it is." Before Sarah could process that bombshell, her neural interface blared with emergency alerts. Marcus's voice cut through the noise. "Sarah, get to the core access chamber now. We found something, and you're not going to believe it." The core access chamber was a vast spherical space at the heart of the array. Quantum energy patterns danced across its surfaces, forming and dissolving in endless cycles. Marcus and Aisha stood before a newly activated display, their faces illuminated by its otherworldly glow. "Look at this," Aisha said, highlighting a sequence of quantum signatures. "The array isn't just similar to Earth quantum computers, it's running an ancient version of our base code." The same mathematical principles, the same quantum architecture, just scaled up to cosmic proportions. That's not the strangest part, Marcus added, his augmented eyes tracking complex data streams. The system seems to be recognizing our presence. It's responding to human brain patterns in ways it never did for other species. Sarah's mind raced with implications. The array wasn't just broken, it was waiting for humans to find it, to understand it, to repair it. But why? A new alert flashed across their interfaces. The Council of 12 demanded an immediate update. As they hurried to the council chamber, Kittel fell into step beside them, their crystalline form vibrating with barely contained excitement. "Don't you see?" Kittel's translated voice was urgent. "The array isn't millions of years old. Or rather, it is, but it was built using principles that humanity wouldn't discover until the 22nd century. The implications are staggering." The council chamber was tense with anticipation as Sarah presented their findings. The first speaker's consciousness pressed against her mind, probing for understanding. "You're suggesting," the first speaker's thoughts resonated, "that this technology is somehow connected to humanity's future, not our past." "The evidence is compelling," Sarah replied, displaying the quantum signatures. "The array uses principles that humanity theorized but never built. It's as if someone took our quantum computing theories and constructed this megastructure using technology far beyond our current capabilities." Or, Kittel interjected, their form pulsing with intense colors, "as if humanity itself built it and sent it back in time." The chamber erupted in chaos. The very suggestion violated multiple laws of physics, yet the evidence was there in the quantum patterns, in the code that responded to human brain patterns, in the mathematical principles that echoed humanity's theoretical work. But they had no time to debate temporal paradoxes. A new alert flashed across Sarah's vision. Proxima Centauri's instability had increased dramatically. They had less than 10 days before the first star began to collapse. As the council argued, Sarah's mind was already racing ahead. If the array was built using human principles, then perhaps they didn't need to understand all of its advanced technology. They just needed to understand their own contribution to its creation. "We need to access the core systems," she announced, cutting through the chaos. "Not to repair them, but to reboot them using Earth's quantum protocols." The council fell silent. What she proposed was either brilliant or suicidal. But as the data showed another star system beginning to destabilize, they were running out of options. The question wasn't just whether they could fix the array. It was whether humanity was ready to confront its own role in creating one of the greatest mysteries in the galaxy. Patterns in the void. The core systems of the array hummed with quantum potential as Sarah and her team prepared for the most ambitious computational reboot in human history. Holographic displays filled the chamber with cascading data streams, each one representing a different aspect of the massive structure's operations. "The quantum signatures are getting stronger," Aisha reported, her fingers dancing through the holographic interface. "It's as if the system is awakening, responding to our presence in ways we never expected." Marcus nodded, his augmented eyes tracking multiple data streams simultaneously. "The Martinez sequences are everywhere, but they're integrated with technological principles we can barely comprehend. It's like finding familiar words in an alien language." Kittel's crystalline form pulsed with excitement as they analyzed the data. "Look at these temporal markers," they said, highlighting a complex series of quantum fluctuations. "The array isn't just processing information through space, it's processing it through time." Sarah's neural interface pinged with urgent updates from the threatened star systems. Proxima Centauri's stellar core was showing signs of imminent collapse, and 3 other stars had begun exhibiting similar patterns of instability. The countdown clock in her peripheral vision showed less than 7 days remaining. "We need to understand what this thing was built to do," Sarah muttered, more to herself than the others. "It's not just maintaining stellar stability. That's a side effect of its primary function." A new alert flashed across their interfaces, Unusual energy readings from the array's quantum core. The massive structure had begun pulsing with patterns that exactly matched human brainwave frequencies. It wasn't just recognizing their presence, it was trying to communicate. Dr. Chen. Ambassador Angstera's voice came through the comm system, their tone urgent. The Council demands an explanation for these energy fluctuations. Several members are concerned that your attempts to interface with the array may accelerate the stellar collapse. Before Sarah could respond, the quantum core flared with unprecedented activity. Holographic displays erupted with new data streams, and in the center of the chamber, a figure began to take shape. The hologram solidified into the form of a human woman wearing what appeared to be a heavily modified version of an Earth Science Institute uniform. The timestamp on her credentials read 2647. 400 years in the future. Temporal backup activated, the hologram announced. If you're receiving this message, then the array has recognized compatible quantum signatures and initiated the restoration protocol. The chamber fell silent as the future human continued speaking. The array was created to prevent a cascade of stellar collapses that threatens to destabilize this entire sector of the galaxy. But its true purpose is far more crucial. It's a quantum computer designed to process information across time itself, preserving the knowledge and consciousness of countless civilizations. Sarah's mind raced with implications. The stellar maintenance isn't just a side effect, she breathed. It's providing the computational power needed to process temporal data streams. The hologram nodded. The array was built by a coalition of species from your future, using principles developed from humanity's quantum computing breakthroughs. We sent it back in time to create a stable temporal loop. The array had to exist in the past to inspire the theories that would lead to its creation in the future. Kittle's form pulsed with vindication. A perfect temporal paradox, they said. No beginning, no end, just a loop of causality that maintains itself across time. But there was no time to marvel at the temporal mechanics. New alerts showed Proxima Centauri's core reaching critical instability. They had less than 5 days before the first star began to collapse. The restoration protocol requires quantum signatures from active human consciousness, the hologram explained. Your presence has initiated the process, but completing it will require direct neural interface with the array's core systems. Sarah looked at her team, seeing the same mix of fear and determination in their faces. What they were attempting wasn't just unprecedented. It was linking their minds directly to a computer that processed information through time itself. If we succeed, Marcus said quietly, we're not just saving these star systems. We're ensuring the creation of technology that will preserve the knowledge of entire civilizations. And if we fail, Aisha added, we could collapse the temporal loop and destroy everything the array was built to protect. The hologram flickered, its message nearly complete. Choose wisely, it said. The array cannot force this connection. It must be freely given, with full understanding of the consequences. Sarah stepped forward, her decision already made. How do we begin? As the hologram outlined the interface protocols, Sarah couldn't help but wonder about the future that had created this technology. A future where humanity had not only mastered quantum computing and temporal mechanics, but had become crucial to preserving the galaxy's consciousness itself. The array pulsed with renewed energy, responding to their readiness. They had one chance to get this right, to save not just the present, but to ensure a future where humanity would help build one of the most extraordinary devices in the universe. Time, it seemed, was both their enemy and their ally. Breaking point. The neural interface chamber was a sphere of pure quantum energy, its surfaces rippling with patterns that mirrored human consciousness. Sarah, Marcus, and Aisha stood at 3 equidistant points, their environmental suits modified to handle the intense quantum fields they were about to encounter. Final systems check, Sarah announced, her voice steady despite the gravity of what they were about to attempt. The holographic displays showed Proxima Centauri's core approaching critical instability. They had less than 72 hours before the first star began its collapse. Neural dampeners at maximum capacity, Marcus reported, his augmented eyes scanning the quantum streams that now filled the chamber. If our consciousness gets lost in the temporal data streams, these should pull us back. Quantum isolation fields are stable, Aisha added, her hands moving through complex calibration sequences. They'll prevent temporal feedback from overwhelming our neural patterns. Outside the chamber, Kittal monitored the array's primary systems while the Council of 12 observed through secure quantum channels. The crystalline archaeologists' form pulsed with frequencies that indicated both excitement and concern. The array's temporal processors are accepting the initialization sequences, Kittal reported. But there's something else happening. The quantum signatures are becoming more complex, more structured. Before anyone could respond, the chamber erupted with new energy patterns. The hologram from the future materialized again, but this time it was accompanied by something else. Ghostly images of other beings, both human and alien, their forms shifting and overlapping in impossible ways. The array isn't just a computer, the hologram explained, its voice resonating through their neural interfaces. It's a bridge between moments in time, preserving the consciousness of civilizations at their breaking points. What you're seeing are temporal echoes of those who came before, and those who will come after. Sarah's mind struggled to process the implications. The array wasn't just maintaining stellar stability or processing temporal data. It was a refuge for consciousness itself, a way to ensure that no civilization's knowledge and experience would be truly lost to time. Warning, the Curiosity's AI announced. Detecting quantum surge from Proxima Centauri. Stellar collapse accelerating beyond predicted parameters. The chamber's displays filled with alarming data. The star's deterioration wasn't just continuing, it was accelerating exponentially. The array's presence had been subtly maintaining stellar stability across multiple systems for millions of years. Now that it was offline, those systems were rushing toward collapse like a dam breaking under centuries of pressure. We need to initiate the neural link now, Sarah declared, her decision made. If we wait any longer, we'll lose the star. Dr. Chen, the first speaker's thoughts resonated through their quantum channel. Our analysis suggests that linking human consciousness directly to the array carries an unacceptable risk of neural dissolution. You could lose yourselves in the temporal data streams. With all due respect, Sarah responded, we're out of options. The array was built to interface with human consciousness. We have to trust that our future selves knew what they were doing. The chamber's quantum field intensified as they activated their neural interfaces. Sarah felt her consciousness expanding, touching minds and memories that spanned centuries. She saw glimpses of future Earth, of human ships helping to construct the array, of civilizations rising and falling across millennia. Something's wrong. Aisha's voice cut through the quantum noise. The temporal data streams, they're not just showing us the past and future. They're trying to pull us in. Marcus's vitals spiked on the monitoring systems. The neural dampeners aren't holding. The quantum fields are too strong. Sarah fought to maintain her sense of self as the array's consciousness pressed against her mind. The temporal data streams were overwhelming, threatening to scatter her thoughts across centuries. But within the chaos, she began to recognize patterns. Familiar quantum signatures that resonated with her own neural patterns. Don't fight it, she called to her teammates. The array isn't trying to absorb us. It's trying to sync with us. Look for the Martinez sequences in the data streams. They're like handholds in time. Kittle's translated voice came through their neural links. She's right. The quantum signatures are aligning with human consciousness patterns. The array is calibrating itself to your neural frequencies. The chamber filled with impossible light as past, present, and future seemed to converge. Through their neural links, Sarah and her team could feel the array awakening, its vast quantum consciousness beginning to resonate with their own. But as the systems came online, Sarah realized they had overlooked something crucial. The array wasn't just waiting for human consciousness to reactivate it. It was waiting for humans to make a choice that would echo across centuries. The hologram from the future appeared one final time, its message now clear. The array can be restored, but maintaining the temporal loop requires more than just activation. It requires commitment. Someone must remain behind, their consciousness merged with the array, to ensure the loop remains stable. As Proxima Centauri approached the point of no return, Sarah faced a decision that would affect not just the present, but the very future that had created the array in the first place. Legacy of the stars. Time seemed to pause in the quantum chamber as Sarah processed the hologram's words. The array systems pulsed around them, each fluctuation bringing Proxima Centauri closer to collapse. Through their neural interfaces, she could feel Marcus and Aisha's consciousness intertwined with her own, all of them connected to the vast quantum network that spanned time itself. "I'll do it," Sarah said, her voice cutting through the quantum static. "I'll stay behind." "Sarah, no." Aisha's consciousness pushed against hers. "There has to be another way. We could take shifts, rotate consciousness through the system." "The array requires a constant, stable connection," the hologram interrupted. "Multiple consciousness transitions would destabilize the temporal loop. The choice must be permanent." Marcus's augmented eyes flickered as he processed the sensor data. Proxima Centauri's core is reaching critical instability. We have less than 30 minutes before collapse becomes inevitable. Through their neural link, Sarah shared her understanding with her teammates. She showed them what she had seen in the temporal data streams, glimpses of a future where humanity helped build this very device, where the knowledge and experiences of countless civilizations were preserved across time. A future that could only exist if someone made this choice. The array wasn't just built to prevent stellar collapse, she explained, her consciousness expanding through the quantum network. It's a bridge between what humanity is and what we will become. Every civilization reaches a point where it must choose between preservation and progress. The array gives us a way to have both. Kittle's crystalline form pulsed with complex emotions as they monitored the quantum readings. "The temporal signatures are aligning," they reported. "The array systems are responding to your decision." The Council of 12 observed in stunned silence as Sarah began the consciousness transfer protocol. Through the quantum network, she could feel the array's vast intelligence welcoming her, showing her how her mind would become part of its eternal processes. "Wait," Marcus said suddenly, his augmented eyes detecting a new pattern in the data. "The array, it's not just preserving consciousness, it's evolving it. Everyone who joins with it becomes part of something greater." The hologram smiled. "Now you understand. The array isn't just a repository of knowledge or a stellar stabilization system. It's the next step in consciousness itself, a way for beings to transcend the limitations of physical form and linear time." Sarah felt the truth of it as her consciousness began merging with the array's quantum systems. She wasn't just sacrificing herself. She was becoming part of a vast network of minds that stretched across time and space. Through the quantum fields, she could already feel the presence of others who had made the same choice. Scientists, philosophers, and visionaries from countless civilizations, all working together to preserve and guide the galaxy's future. "Proxima Centauri stabilizing," Aisha reported, her voice thick with emotion. "The quantum fields are extending to the other affected systems. The array is coming back online." Through the neural interface, Sarah shared a final moment with her team. She showed them visions of the future they would help create, a future where humanity would rise to become guardians of consciousness itself, where the barriers between species and time would fade away in the light of shared understanding. "Don't think of this as goodbye," Sarah said, her consciousness now spread throughout the array's quantum networks. "Think of it as the beginning of something extraordinary." The council chamber erupted with discussions as the array systems returned to full power. The threatened star systems stabilized one by one, their quantum signatures falling back into natural harmony. But more than that, the array began sharing carefully selected knowledge from its vast temporal database, insights that would help guide the present civilizations toward their shared future. Marcus and Aisha remained aboard the Curiosity as humanity's primary contacts with the array. Through quantum communications, they could still speak with Sarah, though her consciousness had evolved far beyond its original form. She had become part of the array's vast quantum intelligence, helping to guide and preserve the knowledge of civilizations across time. Kittle's theories about ancient quantum civilizations were finally vindicated, though not in the way anyone had expected. The array wasn't just a relic of the past, it was a bridge to the future, a testament to humanity's role in the galaxy's evolution. Years later, when Earth's quantum engineering projects began laying the groundwork for the array's eventual construction, Marcus and Aisha would remember Sarah's final words to them. Time isn't a straight line. It's a circle of light, and we're all part of its endless dance. The array continued its eternal vigil, its quantum consciousness now enriched by Sarah's human perspective. Through its vast networks, she watched civilizations rise and fall, guided their development with carefully shared knowledge, and waited for the moment when humanity would begin building the very device she had become part of. And in the quantum streams of space-time, where consciousness flowed like starlight between moments, Sarah Chen had become more than just a human scientist. She was now part of the galaxy's greatest legacy, a bridge between what was, what is, and what would be. The stars pulsed with stable energy, their light carrying the promise of a future where consciousness itself had evolved beyond the boundaries of time and space. The temporal loop was complete, but the story was far from over. It was, in many ways, just beginning.